Greetings, everyone. I am honored and privileged to be here with Trash the Brand. We have Mr. Scotty Austin, Scott Little, and Dave Thomas here with us. I'd like for us to kind of think about this just for a second. What is West Tennessee music, and what's happening here in Jackson right now that is bringing about a wealth of talent and a pool of great musicians and artists? I'd like to start off by asking a couple of questions. First, about kind of your backgrounds. If I'm sitting at home watching TV right now, and I've never heard Trash the Brand, what should I expect if I want to come see a show, or if I want to click on a YouTube link, or if I want to go to your website? How would you describe that?
Southern rock, straight out of the Tennessee River, really, I guess. I grew up in Parsons, and we only got 92.3 there and a country station, so just kind of turned into rock and roll.
That's awesome. How about you, Scott?
Probably a little profanity every now and then, but in a good way, and it's real. It's raw and real. I think it's what it is. It's like cut the arm of a farmer and the blood that comes out. It's dirt. It's dusty. It's homegrown. You know what I'm saying?
It's like country with a bad attitude.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's good. How about you, Dave?
That was a little morbid, Scott.
That's me.
What should you expect at a Trash the Brand show? The unexpected. I didn't know I was going to play this gig until 45 minutes ago. So
Literally.
I mean, they keep me on my toes.
It's amazing people show up. We hardly ever give any warning.
All right.
Well, I think I've read multiple places where it says it's swamp rock. Was that something you guys came up with, or?
No, to us it's like new rockabilly.
Yeah.
Because we're so close to Memphis, we have that blues influence, and we love it. We're that close to Nashville too, so we get. It's why it is rockabilly.
Yeah.
It's country music with soul.
We're here with Carl Perkins, home of Carl Perkins, probably
The man.
the man.
Well, and that's what Carl Perkins did, was push the envelope. I mean, he did something that he learned from, what you said about the farm, the sharecropper life, what he learned out in the field, and he brought it in and just kind of added a little twang to it and made it rockabilly. And we live in that home, so. You've got great reviews on the album, by the way. It's like constant, positive reviews, Rebel Radio being one, and of course Ardent, John Hamilton at Ardent, right?
Yes, sir.
And
Rest in peace, John.
Yeah, he raves on it. Is there anything that if somebody's listening to your album, is there that one song, or is there that one moment where you sit back and you can just listen to it over and over and over again?
Well, that's a hard question to answer there, because they're all like kids to me.
Yeah.
They're all special in their own way to me. We didn't go in to record a record for people to like. We went in to record a record that we liked for the first time ever. And oddly enough, people have related to it more. I'm probably the worst singer in West Tennessee. The fact that people like me and I'm sitting here is pretty amazing to me. It's true.
Who does the songwriting? Do you guys collaborate?
I do the songwriting for this stuff.
And so, are they personal experiences you write about, or
Yes.
is it something that you sit down and see something and then you spend time with it and let it?
Well, life is hard, and all we have left of it is stories. And that's the way we get through, all of us. So I don't know, it comes differently. Most of the time, it's pretty quickly, though, because it's a direct emotion that I'm putting on paper.
Yeah. When did you guys know you wanted to do this for a living? Like, you wanted to be musicians? When was that moment?
We want to be musicians.
Well, I was born into a musical family, so I never thought about it until I realized I didn't know how to do anything else.
Like, that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And how about you, Scott?
I'd kind of played around with guitar when I started about 15 years old. I was kind of a late starter. These guys started extremely young. But July the 3rd, 1981 is when I realized I want to be a musician. I was in Bakersfield, California, living with my father at the time, and went to my first rock concert. And I got the pleasure of seeing Randy Rhoads play live. I was Ozzy Osbourne on the Blizzard of Oz tour, and Motorhead opened up for them, man. You talk about an amazing show. I mean, you're talking about icons there, but seeing Randy play and then and Rudy Sarzo on bass, and that was on Saturday night. And Monday morning I was downtown Bakersfield, my face planted against a pawn shop window trying to pick out a guitar because I wanted to be like that, So for me, that was probably the moment that I decided, I'll probably give this a shot.
Yeah. Good.
Well, that's adorable.
Thank you.
That's just sweet.
Thank you.
That goes in the book. That goes in the book. How about you, Dave?
Well, I can tell you the exact. I mean, music had always been a huge part of my life. Both my parents being musicians and in orchestras and that kind of thing. So I was exposed to a lot of classical music at a very, very early age and played classical violin and piano growing up. But when I was 13, I was over at a friend's house and we were watching that movie Great Balls of Fire. And around about the middle of it, when Dennis Quaid, as Jerry Lee Lewis, he's forced to open for Chuck Berry, and so at the last song is Great Balls of Fire, and he takes this bottle of bourbon and he pours it all over this beautiful black grand piano, lights a match and flicks it into the guts of the piano, and I literally stood up in front of the screen, looked at my friend and said, "That is what I want to do for the rest of my life."
Burn things.
Because, in the classical piano world, it took me all of about 30 seconds to figure out that I could practice scales for 8 hours a day. And there'd still be 50 Asian kids in my zip code that could play circles around me. But I wasn't seeing any of them setting pianos on fire. I knew I could do that better than them.
Put two of your favorite things together.
Yeah, piano and fire. Win. Epic win.
Yeah.
Is basically.
Well, I can tell you the moment that I started pursuing it was, like I said, I come from a musical family. We had a gospel family band in Parsons, Tennessee. It was always like acoustic instruments and clean guitar. It was Pentecostal, so it was real upbeat. And when I was in 7th grade, I signed up for just a career day, music, because it was what I'd done. And I went to the band room, and I saw the band director. He had an electric guitar there, and he strummed a full E chord with distortion on, and I had never heard it. It was just an eye opener. He boom, changed my life. It really changed my life. And then he played Jump on the keyboard as a Wayne Rat. I don't know if you're watching this, but you did it, man. I'm like, wow, that is cool. And then I got old enough to realize that girls liked it. But it truly did it for me.
How about influences? Like, is there an influence that you guys? I know you talked about Randy Rhoads and wanting to go, get that guitar, and.
Rudy was a showman,
Yeah.
Everybody knows Rudy Sarzo.
Yeah, he's
Quiet Riot,
bass player.
White Snake, all
Mm-hmm.
those guys. But yeah, he was the little showman, and unfortunately, unlike these guys, they're trained, musically trained. He's a graduate and with father and mother that was both in the symphony, so they got that musical background with theory and stuff. And basically, my music life has been trying to make up for what I don't know in theory by trying to, make it fun on stage and kind of put on a little show, So I've had to come from that part. It's the showing part. But over the years, I kind of, progressed a little bit, and being able to work with great musicians like these guys, learning every time we play a show, I'll hear something he plays on keyboard, I'll hear something he plays on guitar, and try to follow it a little bit. Just learn to listen. If you're a musician out there, bass players, learn to listen to these guys.
Yeah. Well, that's musicians, period. If you want to work in a band, the main ingredient is listening to each other.
Right.
Any other influences, Dave? Do you have any influences that you can look back and say, like, other than Jerry Lee or actually, Dennis
Quaid? For 2 or 3 months after that incident, I'd gotten the greatest hits and the soundtrack and all that, and I'd been, driving my parents just absolutely crazy, doing the boogie woogie bass lines and whatever, and it was about that time that they encouraged me to give up music. because they were no longer hearing Mozart's Turkish March or anything. You know, they were hearing Great Balls of Fire and High School Confidential. They did not like that. But as far as you know, a lot of my influences that I applied to the keyboard were guitar players. You know, whether it was, you know, solos from, you know, a Skynyrd song or an Alice in Chains tune or you know, I liked the licks that guitar players were playing more than I liked the keyboard player or piano player licks. So I took a lot of those and just transposed them to the piano. But you know, I have a solid blues background that came after the classical background, and a lot of that stuff, you know, it was told to me a long time ago that if you can't play the blues, you can't play anything. It's a great place to start, and a lot of people that don't know any better think that blues is just 1-4-5, but you know, it's so much more than that. There's just the idea of being able to take one note and a deep feeling and communicate that across you know, socioeconomic lines or gender barriers or anything like, you know, that's the whole idea of the communicative power of music to me.
Yeah, it's like a John Lee Hooker kind of thing, you know, where who can play one chord for 4 minutes and just make it,
I think
speak, you know, like he.
It might have been B.B. King and Joe Bonamassa that I saw not too long ago. And Joe's, you know, he's riffing it up, and BB is just kind of, you know, quietly smiling at him. And when it comes his turn to play, he just plays one note, just that one note, and you know, and the crowd just went nuts over that one note. And I really love the players, you know, no matter what the instrument is, that you can tell within 2 or 3 notes who's playing.
Exit 82 airs weekly directly following Saturday Night Live.